So at the moment, the internet is abuzz, alight, afire. And what for? There's a female Thor. Marvel is going to remake Thor into a woman. And cue outrage. But from where? Well, it seems to be everywhere because people don't really know or understand this. First and foremost, we should probably jump in on the fact that Marvel is a business and they have been doing their damnedest to try and please all these special small snowflakes that are out there. When it comes to something like Thor, why are people outraged? The Norse gods to begin with was quite complex, is the easiest way to describe them. And if you haven't watched the TV show called Vikings, I recommend you do so. Unfortunately, it's only season 1 that sticks very true to the Viking nature as we in Scandinavia has been brought up, and when we studied it in school and everything. That is the way the Vikings were. However, the second season is very, very much Americanized, and it's like, well, big brutal battles and clash of clans and whatnot. But when it comes to the intricacy amongst the Norse gods, well, let me say Loki is probably, if he wasn't the god of mischief, which is sort of a hint in on its own, then he would definitely have been the god of all the special snowflakes on, say, Tumblr. Because he had no compunctions at all about swapping forms, being this or that, and you really have to study it, really dig into it, and I would say Wikipedia offers tons of information on all the Norse gods. They're just scratching the surface of the very much intricacy that was around all these gods. And if you're really interested in that, you should definitely dig into it, because there's some fantastic and outright hilarious reads that you can have there, not to mention some really epic stories. Nowadays, I have a feeling most people only know about stories like Beowulf. Those are the kinds of stories that comes from this era, the northwestern Europe as it is today. So Scandinavia, Iceland, northern England, those areas were heavily influenced by the Viking culture, and many places still are today. But then again, what is it with all this outrage? And I know I'm jumping a little bit on the bandwagon here and just trying to put a video out and talk a little bit about it. I grew up with this mythology, and I also grew up with the comic books, and whilst I think that the Thor most people know today is very much an Americanized, in as much sense bastardized as the Americans have bastardized the English language, putting a Z in everywhere is like, what? It's a pop cultural icon to begin with, and this gender swap is nothing new, especially not for Marvel. They've done it before, and they're trying to introduce everything everywhere. And they're trying to please this growing concern that there isn't enough for the LGBT. And I'm not talking about the special snowflakes. I'm talking about the people that are actually out there that are lesbians, gay, bisexual, transsexual, what have you. People like George Takei that are really real, not just craving a little bit of attention on a Tumblr page that no one ever heard of. But they're trying to appease to this, and here comes the sad thing. Marvel's been trying this for a lot longer than the Tumblr community's been trying. Trouble is, every time Marvel has tried this, hasn't really been selling. And I have a feeling that this is where they're biting off a lot more than they can actually chew. Because one thing that is amazing with Thor is his very careless recklessness, his stupidity. All these traits are very, very typical of a man. I'm not saying a woman cannot do them. I'm saying a woman is a lot less prone to be as reckless, as stupid with his behavior when it comes to certain decision, and that is very much the definition of Thor. He's handsome, tall, he wields lightning, he can kick some serious ass, but he's also stupid, reckless, very much prone to anger. He's controlled by very much his testosterone level, which which is something a woman misses. She doesn't have that kind of testosterone level. So what will we get? What would the female Thor bring in there that would still be Thor? Calmness, irrationality on occasion, that one time a month. And I'm making it as an observation. I know women don't like this mention, oh, don't dare mention that one time a month, but let's face the fact, there are more than enough women that once a month just can't take the pain from the PMS or whatever it is that just goes and you go a little bit insane. It's not bad. It just happens. And now someone wielding the power of lightning that has that short-temperedness, would that be a good idea? It could lead to some certain hilarious scenarios, but you wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of that. Anyway, I'm rambling on a little bit, but I'm gonna keep this short. This is more me having a thought for people out there that don't know the Norse mythology, or don't know Thor, or don't know Marvel. I'm just curious as to your thoughts on gender swapping, something that's been around forever. It hasn't been around forever, but it's been around for a very, very long time, and in a case like Thor, which is a stereotypical man in every single behavior that is the character of Thor, and then to change that to a woman, I don't think that will work. I'm gonna round off on a little note because I've been doing research around this whole feminism issue, the special snowflakes, and the demand, why are there so few female leads? Why isn't there enough lesbian, gay, bisexual, transsexual filmmakings and whatnot? And here is my result. There are tons of them. There are hundreds of them being produced every year. BFI, the British Film Institute, has special funding set aside for this, and I signed up for them because what I do, I work with filmmaking. I work mainly in post-production, but I do a little bit of camera work and on-set stuff. But BFI is something you subscribe to so you get information about the industry news and whatnot. More often than not, I get a little bit of news information. I would say I calculated it is about 17% that is main industry news, like works, current projects, upcoming, blah, 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 blah. The rest of it, almost 83%, is exclusively spam about lesbian romance stories, gay romance stories, all this for the LGBT community. There are hundreds of films and short films being produced every year with heavy funding coming through from the British Film Institute. But they don't sell. They don't have that big of an audience. And the popularity that comes with the film is directly related to how many people see it. I know the special snowflakes out there don't want to see or think about it. If you have some kind of gender identification that you've never heard of on Tumblr, you could probably find 3 people on this planet that would say, oh, maybe that suits me. And then the 99% of people that would go, you know what? I like this. And there's still a couple of percent in there that would be some kind of definition outside of the standard, the normal. And here's the thing, don't be afraid of using the term normal, because when you have 95% of the population doing one thing or being drawn to one thing, it's obvious that that is going to be the popular thing, the most noted thing, the thing you see everywhere. Because in the end, you have to make money on what you do in life. You don't do stuff for free because you can't do that for too long. Anyway, these are my thoughts. I was supposed to ramble a little bit about the female Thor. I know there's a little bit about outcry, outrage, and I really do not get it. Female Thor, well, I'm gonna read superhero text here just to round it off. And I thought it was very spot on and very, very, very much accurate. And it's Iron Man that supposedly receives text messages from female Thor. And it begins with text message coming in. Friend Stark, I have a startling announcement. I am now in the form of a woman. To which Stark replies, alright, I'll update your contact info and tell the team. In my opinion, perfectly acceptable response. If you have a friend that changes or do something, that's all you need to do. Cool, I'll call you a girl instead of a man. I call you a man instead of a girl. Whatever happens. Female Thor immediately responds with, "You're not concerned by my change?" Stark replies, "Do you still kick ass and shoot lightning?" Female Thor, "Verily." To which Stark ends the response, "Then what do I care? You were a frog for a few weeks one time. This is nothing." Female Thor is apparently not satisfied with that, so she contacts Odin, Big Daddy. And she begins with, "Father, I'm a woman now." Odin's response, "Your brother was a woman once, and a horse, and a woman horse, who then gave birth to a horse. So I'm still super proud of you, son/daughter." To which female Thor responds a little bit resignated, not getting the attention she wanted apparently. "That reminds me, we should call grandson Horse, it's his birthday." Kind of funny, kind of spot on about the Norse mythology, which isn't the Marvel Thor. Let me know your thoughts in the section